This is a digital video of the Horizon Vac100. This is video number 2 in our Getting to Know Your Collator series. We are on to tab 2 now, and what you'll notice in the beginning is what seems to resemble a little hurricane. That's actually the booklet finisher, our collator finisher button. Currently it's set up to finish to a booklet maker. You could switch it over to go to a stacker or back to a collator or a booklet maker. On the other side, you'll see that it's set up for a stacker. It can also be switched over. You'll notice that the other arrow here, this is the directional arrow as to which way it would exit. Currently it's going to exit into our booklet maker, but you could do a rear exit into a rear exit stacker if you had a rear exit stacker with your system. And you can simply change direction by pushing the button there. You'll hear a click. That is the trap door at the bottom flipping directions. Currently it'll go out to the booklet maker. If you hit it like this, you hear the click. It's now going to exit to the rear and then back. It'll exit to the front. The eye right here is just deciding that this is the main tower. We have one tower connected currently. Therefore, this will be the main tower. If you had another master tower connected into the system, you could change over to that being the master tower instead of this one. We're going to move on to tab number 3. In tab number 3, you'll notice that we have what looks like an eye, a little sunburst, and a circle. And they're all the way through 1 through 10. The eye determines how much light should be seen in the receiver. Depending on how open this eye is, there's almost closed, completely open. Depending on your stock, whether it be heavy stock, coated stock, 20-pound bond, 100-pound, 10-point chrome coat, you're going to adjust that. If it's 10-point chrome coat, you're going to tell the eye to be wide open. This little sunburst here is minimum, maximum light. 10-point chrome coat or any of your chrome coats, you're going to want to have maximum light and maximum open on the eye to receive. The little sunburst is the emitter. The eye is the receiver. It's going to try to find as much light as it can so it can determine the doubles on a 10-point chrome coat or any really heavy stock. Next one directly beside it is the option to turn off the sensor. Some stock you're just not going to be able to read. If you've got a heavy solid on a heavy stock with heavy chrome coating or heavy coating, it's just not going to be visible through the eye. And it will always tell you there's a double, and you're just going to have to turn it off. It's really the only way to get around that. At that point, you're going to have to keep an eye on every set that comes out, but it will allow you to do the job. Very rarely do systems like this double, but again, they could, and that's why the detectors are here. The next tab is tab number 3. This is your program screen. In this screen, what you could do is set for a block mode. As you'll see now, that's a half collator. Hit the button, it'll switch to the other half. That'll allow you to switch between 2 5-bin collators, essentially. What you can do is, as the first 5 are running off, you can be loading the lower 5, and then when it empties, it will move down to the lower 5 on its own, and you can load the top 5, and it will continue to run. You do not have to hit start with this system. It does it on its own, and it will keep doing it as long as there's paper there, and as long as it's the same stock that you started with, it will continue to go. You can turn the feature off, and it goes back to being a regular 10-bin collator, or however many bins you need out of that collating system. The next one is for a stacker. If you were to have a stacker set up, it controls the receding stacker to a certain count. Once it's reached a certain count, the receding stacker will lower the entire distance. You can clear it out. It will raise back up when you're done, and it will continue on. You can set the count right here. Say you want to do 500. It was set for 500. You hit your enter, and then what will happen is that once you've reached 500, the receding stacker will lower all the way down. You can remove it, clear off all the paper. If you had another dolly, put a new dolly in, pick it back up, and continue to go. It'll raise it back up on its own and start feeding again. We don't currently have a stacker hooked up to this system. I'm going to turn that off. The next one is if you had additional towers. We currently do not, but if you were to have additional towers, you can block mode them out into 5-bin collators, or if you had 2 or more, you can go into 10-bin collators or 15-bin collators, however you needed to do it. If you were to have 3 towers, you could block out into 2 15-bin collators. The final button is the pre-programming. You could pre-program up to 9 jobs and then just simply switch. Let's see how each one of these has their own job. They're pre-programmed. They know what they're supposed to do. They know what paper's supposed to be in there. If you have a job that you do every single month or every week, you could pre-program it in it, program that to that number by setting it, and then every time you do that job, load the bins back in the same order, hit the start button, and take off. It's already going to have the number, it's already going to have the values. You don't have to go into calibration mode or anything. It's going to take off from that point. Currently we go back to this mode. Of course, it won't change anything from here unless you enter it, and we're not going to enter it right now. We're already in a mode we want to be in, and we're happy there. This concludes our touch screen panel section of our Getting to Know You video. If you have any questions, please feel free to call, or you can reach us on the web at lcegraphics.com. Thank you. Bye.